Okay, roof framing estimation. So the first thing we need to do when you're doing roof framing, the first thing you start out with is the roof framing of the gables, okay? So you have, your walls are all built, but now you need to build these ends, these gable ends, okay? Which is basically a triangle. Two triangles make a square, right? So two ends would be one full rectangle, or one full square, as the case may be. So let's get into it here. The ones that we're doing is we're doing this gable here, and we're doing this gable here, which is redlined. So this is kind of a strange situation, but here you go. So there's going to be two gables. Okay. I just show you on the plans. We have a gable that's built on top of this wall here, right? And a gable built on this wall here, and then it'll extend out, and it'll actually build out over a post out here to extend for that porch, because this is a 4-foot separation. So there'll be like a 4x4 post here carrying the load on a beam, and then that'll have a gable there. Okay? So, or it could just be open, depending on how we get into our structural engineering. But that won't make a huge difference. Either way, you're going to go ahead and design your gable with a certain amount of studs, etc. So gables need studs. That's the first thing we want to do a takeout for. Okay, so you have a 25-foot gable, and we just rounded it up to 28 because that was the width with the soffit. So you want to have a few extra in there because we have a beam. Sometimes you have a beam if you have, rafters or a framed-in roof, and you don't have a beam if you have a prefab truss system. Okay, so we're just going to go with this. It's 28 foot wide, right? With the eaves, it's 25 feet without. Since you have two halves of a square topping out at 10 feet high, if you remember right, it's 9'4". You can use 14 10-foot studs per gable, right? 14 10-foot studs per gable, or 28 10-foot 2x6s for two sides. Since we have two gables, we have two sides. That does include the beam pocket with those extra studs. Okay, this is a rafter roof system that we're bidding on right now, so we need to actually have a beam pocket for a microlam or an LVL. The pricing is $7 per 2x6 by 10 footer. That's what we provide. We need 14 per side, two sides, so that's 28 times 7, 196. Okay, so $196 for the gable studs. Now, for the top and bottom plates, we have gables need double top plate, okay, 2 per side. So, and just to give you an example of the framing, when you're framing out these walls, let's see if I can find it appropriate. Here we go. So you have a single bottom plate, and then you have a double top plate that runs here because they have overlookers coming over that bear on that top plate, and a single top plate 2x6 isn't quite structurally sound enough to take the weight. So we always do a double top plate, okay? So double top plate, 2 per side, right? And they're 16 foot 10 inches per side, because that's our hypotenuse. If we go up here a little ways, I'll show you the hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse was 16 foot 10, okay? 16 foot 10. So if we have two 16 foot 10 minus the soffit or the overhang, right? Which this is the overhang right here. This is the overhang. This is the soffit. Give you another shot. Let's see if it's right here. Here we go. So 1'6" it shows right here, right? It shows 1'6", 1'6", that eave. So we can take that off of our bid on our run for our gable double top plate. So instead of 16 foot 10, we can use 15 foot 4, or we can use 16 footers. Because remember, the 2x6s come in 12s, 14s, 16s, etc. So the gable pricing, $12 times it for a 16 footer. 2x6 needs 2 per side, right? Double top plate, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. 8 times 12, $96. And then gables need a single bottom plate, like I was saying. So like right here, where the top of this wall is, then you have another single bottom plate, then you run your studs, and then a double top plate. Okay, so a single bottom plate, one per side, but it's we don't have really anything over about a 20 foot or a 22 foot 2x6, so we just do a double 2 by 6 by 14 foot. So we're just going to use two 14 footers per side. Okay, that'll span that 25 foot width, no problem. Two gables, so that's four 2 by 6 by 14 feet. They're $9 a piece, $36. So that's how you get your walls, your gable walls estimated. We'll see you on the next one.